Good afternoon, everyone. My voice is clear, screen is visible to everyone. Okay, good afternoon, welcoming all of you. Today's topic is last topic of this course is cryopreservation. We'll talk about the basics of cryopreservation, how we do the freezing and the thawing of the semen and the embryos. Okay. Have any questions regarding previous session? If any questions, you can ask, or else I move towards the today's session. Okay. So if you have any questions, you can drop your questions in the chat box. Meanwhile, I am moving towards the today's session, that is the cryopreservation. So what do you mean by cryopreservation? The cryopreservation means preserving cells and the tissues in the live conditions at such a low temperature that all the cell metabolism come to standstill. Principle is minimize the cellular injury and cell damage associated with intracellular cell formation, water removal, and exposure to the low temperature. Means what we gain. So by doing the freezing, our main aim is to minimize the cell injury and the cell damage. So first we talk about this pump cryopreservation. Usually we do in all the all the IUI IVF cases where we anticipated the performance failure or as a safety margin, many centers are doing freezing of the at least one or two semen samples prior to the IUI and the IVF. Those who are at a frequent trialers or to work at a long distance can freeze the semen so female can undergo the procedure whenever she desires. Storage of the periepididymal sperm or the testicular epididymal sperm aspiration sample we can store. Prior to the malignancy surgery or the chemotherapy, we can go for the sperm freezing. So for that, our main aim is to prevent the cellular damage. So therefore that we add the cryoprotectant. So these are the compounds that used to achieve the required intracellular dehydration. So usually the cryoprotectants is used in this are of two types. One is permeating and one is non-permeating. Permeating means what they do, they enter inside the cell and displace the water molecules out of the cell, like dimethyl sulfoxide and the glycerol. These are the main permeating cryoprotectant which remove the cell and displace the water molecules. And non-permeating means which remains out of the cell and draw out the intracellular water by osmosis, like the sucrose, glycine, raffinose, like that. All of this glycerol is the main component. The components of the main cryoprotectant are nutrients, buffer, cryoprotective agents, and the antibiotics. So this is a sperm freezing solution you can purchase from any brand. This is of the Sage. So how we do cement freezing? Cement freezing is done in two ways. One is raw cement sample, or one you can also do a cement freezing after cement washing. Means after density gradient or after swim up technique. What at the end what we get is supernatant fluid. That also you can do for the freezing, or simple you can do the raw freezing of the cement also. So how we do? The sample is collected in a container jar within the premises, confirms the particulars of the patient, allow the sample to liquefy, and then do the semen analysis. Now, if I do raw semen analysis, raw semen sample freezing, take equal amount of the semen and equal amount of the sperm freezing media. So first find out the ejaculated equal the amount of the semen. Suppose ejaculated amount of the semen is 2 ml. You have to add 2 ml sperm freezing media. But there is a technique of adding the cement freezing media. So what you have to do? you have to means you have to take a cement freezing media according to the equal amount of the cement into one test tube. Now take a one new test tubes, one new conical test tubes, add the cement, and into that, add the cement freezing media drop by drop over a period of 10 minutes. So you have to take the cement sample, and then suppose 2 ml cement sample is there. So you have to add 2 ml cement freezing media not at one time, but you have to add one by one drop. And after every drop, you have to mix up. So like that way, over a 10 to 12 minutes, you have to mix the cement freezing media to the cement. This is very important step how to mix cement freezing media with the cement. Now simple, your sample is ready for freezing. Now load the diluted cement sample into cryo vials or the goblets with a label and seal. This is you can see these are called the goblets. Like that goblets or the cryo vials are available. You have to label it, and you have to load this sample into these goblets. Now, keep the filled goblets in a labeled aluminum can. Then you can put this goblets in this aluminum can, and then you have to go for freezing. So usually first we do the refrigeration of the sample at 4 degree for 15 minutes. So you can put that sample into deep freezer for 15 minutes, followed by 15 minutes into cement contain into freezing jar, means those having liquid nitrogen you have to hold in the vapor, means first freeze 15 minutes in the deep freezer at 4 degree, then 15 minutes in the vapor, and then immerse into directly liquid nitrogen. These formula may be differ by everyone, so there may be a little bit difference at your center also. So like that way, and liquid nitrogen has to be filled in the liquid tank at a frequent interval. That is very important. So this is how we do a cement freezing. The same way, how to thaw. Simple. Thawing is simple. When you want to use that sample, remove the goblets from the liquid nitrogen tank, put it at a room temperature, or you can put in the laminar airflow hood for 30 minutes, and allow the sample to come to a normal. So you can put in the water bath for 5 to 7 minutes. So within half an hour, it comes to the normal room temperature. And after that, you can use that sample and you can go for the procedure of the cement washing. Usually, even you had used this washed sample, add 2 ml flushing media to remove the reduce the toxic effect of the glycerol. And at least prior to the use, whether it is prepared sample, at least 2 to 3 minutes centrifugation with 2 ml HIPPIES media ideally is to be advised to remove the toxic effect. So this is about the freezing and the thawing. Any questions you can ask? This is about cement freezing. Yeah, please. Actually, cement, it depends on the cement volume and depends on the count. Okay. So ideally, we usually do cement freezing of whatever amount of the cement we get in the ejaculation. So you means 2 to 3 goblets ideally for one patient. So if 2 ml cement sample is there, then ideally whole cement sample has to be freeze, so that you can use for your future. Yeah, whole sample ideally. After liquefaction, you can. No, no. See, I usually prefer raw sample freezing. So at our center, because it reduce the cost and everything. So always do because for any IVF, I recommend always do a freezing is always the better option, because on the day of the pickup sometimes patient is failed to ejaculate and all kind of the problems we have to face now. So always what we do, we keep extra sample. So for that, usually we always freeze raw sample. So just after the liquefaction procedure is very simple, as simple any lab assistant can do. So once the sample get liquefied, we get the semen analysis and you directly go for the freezing. So whenever you require to use the sample, just thaw it and do a semen washing, whatever you want to do. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or after thawing, yeah. But it's like you order from the cement bank. We sometimes we order from the cement bank donor sample. At that they are doing freezing after cement washing. So they do the cement washing and then they do the freezing. So what they provide us is prior. So for that they will be easy. But for IVF center, I recommend always do a ROSM. Why we have to put extra burden or extra cost to the patient? So whenever we want, just thaw it and then you can go for the washing technique, whatever you required. So at our center, we usually do freezing of the raw sample. Hmm. Because they already what they do now, they first do the cement washing and then they do the freezing. So they are ready to use. Sage company, SAGE, Sage company, Sage. It depends. Na suppose it if it is done in the IVF, na we usually don't take charge because it comes under the package. But if the patient require to freeze that sample, then usually we usually charge 10,000 rupees for 6 months freezing. That I don't know actually. Cryopreservation of the cryopreservation of the oocyte or the embryos. Now we proceed for the oocyte or the embryos. So, usual the method of the cryopreservation and thawing for both oocyte and embryos are same. There is no much big difference. But the oocyte cryopreservation is very delicate and required so much expertization, while embryo freezing is very technique is same, but they are very delicate and very fragile, so very gentle we have to handle. That is the only. Otherwise, the procedure is same for cryopreservation of the oocyte or the embryos. So in the past, there are actually two methods, slow freezing and the vitrification. Nowadays, nobody is doing slow freezing method. All are preferring to go for the vitrification method. Because of this vitrification method, the survival rate after the freezing of the embryos is almost nearby 95%. So 95% of the embryos we usually get what we had done the freezing. So, the what is the main principle of vitrification? So, it causes the complete elimination of the ice crystal formation. So, there is no ice crystal formation. The vitrification of the oocyte. First, we talk about the all are same, but the vitrification of the oocyte or the embryo solution, what you are purchasing. See here, there are different the brands and different companies are available. The most commonly widely used brand mainly are two. One is Kitazato and one is Cryotop. And one maybe some people are using from this Origio and from Hook. I usually use this Kitazato since 12 years. So everyone has their own manual and the methods. So I cannot tell you the what I do that is exactly applied to you because every you have to read the instruction in the leaflets of the media what they have suggested for their company to use. So here there may be a little bit difference. because it depends on which company media you are using. In the Kitazoto, they provide the three bottles of the solution: uh, VS, ES, and VS1 and the VS2. Okay, VS is mainly for oocyte freezing, and ES is mainly for embryo freezing. That is the only difference. This VS1 and VS2 is common for both. Okay, so when you want to use oocyte freezing, then you have to use VS, and when you want to go to embryo, you have to use ES solution. Okay, what that I am telling you. Steps of the oocyte or the embryo freezing are almost same. So steps is first, remove the vitrification media from the refrigerator. Here, we also freeze the vitrification media into the store the vitrification media into the refrigerator. So whenever you have to go for the freezing, you have to remove that vitrification media from the refrigerator. Keep it at room temperature 2 hours prior. Okay, so 2 hours prior, we have to keep the media to the room temperature. Simply just you have to remove from the refrigerator and put it at a room temperature. Now switch on the laminar airflow hood because whole procedure whenever we handle the oocyte or the embryo that is to be done under the laminar airflow. So switch on the laminar airflow hood, but not heating plate because freezing is not done under 37 degree. So you have to heating plate should be switch off and make the room temperature 23 degree. So usually in during the whole procedure we keep the room temperature 25 degree, but when we have to do the freezing I usually turn the room temperature to the 23 degree. So switch on laminar airflow hood, switch off heating plates if it is on, and make a room temperature 23 degree. All the petri dishes which we are going to use for the freezing to be placed under the laminar airflow. Now, how to do? So first take one petri dish. This is 60 petri dish. A lid is there where take 0.3 ml drop of the ES or the BS solution. So BS when you want to freeze oocyte and ES when you want to use embryo. That is only basic difference. The rest all the steps are same. Okay. Now take 2 to 3 oocytes from the culture dish and put it in the ES or the BS. So if embryo in the ES solution, if oocyte in the BS solution for 15 minutes. This is again varices. Usually, if day 3 embryos, we usually put it for 10 to 12 minutes, and for blastocyst, I usually put it for 15 minutes. Okay, now immediately when you put the oocyte or the embryos in the solution, you will see the changes. You can see oocyte in the ES at 30 seconds. They usually get it shrunk. Then when you see at 2 minutes, what happens that then they immediately they will shrunk. Then gradually they water is removed from the cell. So then gradually they start again gaining their normal shape. Oocyte at 15 minutes usually you will get this kind of the picture. Now from the this is ES or the BS solution. Now make a 0.2 ml drop of the VS. Means here usually we can make a two drop VS1 and the VS2 almost they are same. So now take the oocyte or the embryo from the ES or the BS solution, put it in the VS1 and the VS2. So VS1 30 seconds, VS2 30 seconds like that way. And from VS to the to the cryolog 30 seconds. So whole is 90 seconds. I will explain you by drawing. So this is the picture. When you put 30 seconds, at 30 seconds you will see like this way. Now load the oocyte on the straw with minimal solution and dip it to the liquid nitrogen. Just load the oocyte on the liquid nitrogen like this way. Cryopreservation of the embryos are same. As I told you, na, here we are going to use ES, VS1 and VS2. ES means equilibration solution. No cryoprotectant is there. In a VS1, glycol as a cryoprotectant. VS2 and VS1 almost composition are same. So this is a kitazoto vitrification kit where you will get BS, ES, VS1 and the VS2. Four bottles are there. So now when you want to do na, what we are do, your solutions are ready in the room temperature. Take one petri dish, take 0.3 ml of the ES solution, put embryos here. Usually I will put two or three embryos together on the one straw. Okay. Then from ES, if it is day 3 embryo, keep it for 12 minutes. If day 5 embryo, keep it for 15 minutes. Then meanwhile you have to make another dish which contains VS1 and the VS2. Okay. Then what you have to do? You have to take the embryos from here, put it in the VS1 for 30 seconds, from VS1 to VS2 30 seconds, and from VS2 you have to load the sample on the cryolog. So here you have to load the sample and then put it back into liquid nitrogen. Okay, so this is the procedure of embryo freezing. This procedure is very easy, but they are very delicate structures, so it required some practice and the expertization. Because the problem is to locate the embryos in solution, and very rapidly it is to be done. And you have to follow that timeline. Otherwise, with little bit changes, it will affect the embryo. That is the biggest problem. Once you expertise, na, it become very easy for you. So remove the embryos from the incubator, take the embryos from culture dish, put it in the ES solution. For day 3 embryo, keep it for 12 minutes. For blastocyst, keep it for 15 minutes. You will see embryo in the ES at 2 minutes like this way, at 10 minutes like this way. Now make 2 drops of the VS1 and VS2 separately. Transfer the embryos from the ES to VS1 for 30 seconds. Allow the embryo to sink and then float, and then transfer from VS1 to VS2 for 30 seconds. And then load the embryos on a straw within 90 seconds. Within 90 seconds means once you had hold the embryos from the ES1 and put it in the VS1, then VS1, VS2 and load the embryo timing should not be more than 90 seconds. And then immerse immediately into liquid nitrogen. So like that way liquid nitrogen bath tub is there, where immediately you have to put it your liquid straw in the liquid nitrogen bath and then put it like this way. Lock and put it in the liquid nitrogen tank by proper labeling. So this is about embryo freezing. Then the warming. Warming means thawing. Any questions regarding freezing of embryos? Yeah, that is only, yeah. Only the solution, everything same. Hmm. Everything same, everything same. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, very good. Okay, okay. If you have to freeze the oocyte, just take out the do the ovum pickup, do the screening, put it in the incubator, wait for 2 hours, and usually oocyte freezing is usually done after denudation. So for that you have to do only the ICSI. You cannot do conventional IVF. So what you have to do now, 2 hours incubation, and after 2 hours you have to denude the oocyte and then directly do the freezing of the oocyte. Hmm. 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 Yeah, yeah, soon after. No, 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 no. No, see now what happens now? Day three embryo, there won't be big issue. Day three embryo, usually I do freezing at 72 hours, usually. Because my transfer is in the morning. So usually at in the morning, once the transfer is completed, afterwards in the afternoon I do the freezing. So I can say at around 72 hours I do freezing on a day three embryos. So usually I prefer always to go for a day three freezing. And what I do now, I do the freezing of the day three embryos, and in the suppose if I want to do a blastocyst transfer in that patient. So what you can do, always day three freezing is always preferred over blastocyst freezing. Why? Because what you can do now, do the day three freezing, and whenever you want to transfer in your patient in the upcoming cycle, what you do, thawing at day three and allow to extend the culture after thawing up to blastocyst. That we do. Because when you do the blastocyst freezing, the problem is that if little bit late is there, and if the embryo is in the process of hatching, it sometimes damage, or while doing the freezing it hatched out. So that is the biggest problem in embryo day 5 freezing. So usually I always do freezing of day 3 embryo, never day 5 embryo at my center. Okay, but sometimes if I do the extended culture, and if left embryos are there, then we'll go for day 5 freezing. Not a big issue. But the problem is that you have to be very precise in the timing. Otherwise, once it starts the hatching out, na, there is no use to do the freezing at that time. Exactly 116 hour or 120 hour, when you see now just that blastocyst start developing, do the freezing. Don't wait for to expand or wait for the hatching. Please, yeah, hello, yeah, please. At whatever desired time you can freeze the embryos and the semen. Only it required the liquid nitrogen to be refilled in the tank is very very important. Till you fill the liquid nitrogen up to whatever the number of the times, means whatever the number of the days, years, decades, you can store the semen and store the embryos. But maintenance of the liquid. Hmm, hmm, hmm. Up to whatever number of the years that I'm telling now, up to 100 years you can store. But the problem is the constant supply of liquid nitrogen in the tank is very important. Because even one day supply is not there, that all embryos and sperm will be destroyed. So if regular nitrogen supply is there, then you can store that still up to 10 years, 20 years, 50 years. Thawing. How to do thawing? That is called thawing, means coming back to normal, or the warming of the embryos or the oocyte. So for that I usually use Kitazato. So I am telling about whole the procedure of Kitazato. because as I told you, na, little bit difference, but always a difference in different companies. So in Kitazoto, they have TS, DS, WS1 and WS2. Four solutions are there. So TS which contains sucrose, DS which also contains sucrose, WS1 contains sucrose as a cryoprotectant, and WS2 is just like a washing media. So here what you have to do, uh, this TS, this TS, this TS required 37 degree, and DS, WS1 and WS2 required room temperature. So when you want to thaw the embryo, na, at least 3 to 4 hours prior or one night prior. Usually I put one night prior this TS solution in the incubator or in the tube warmer for 37 degree. And the DS, WS1 and WS2 require room temperature. So 2 hours prior, they have to be kept at room temperature. So here again switch on the heating plates 2 hours prior. TS solution usually put at 37 degree 3 hours prior or one night prior to the procedure in the incubator or in the tube warmer. DS, WS1 and WS2 should be at a room temperature. So this is a warming solution which contains TS, DS, WS1 and WS2. So now take a one dish. Now you are doing the thawing. So in the thawing, keep remember when you use TS, it always require 37 degree. And when you use DS, WS1 and WS2, it require room temperature. So first you have to take a dish which contains 0.2 ml of the drop of the TS solution that is to be kept under the heated microscope, heated plate under the microscope. Now bring the cryolock means remove the cryolock from the liquid nitrogen tank and open the lock and put that cryolock in the TS solution and put the cryolock in the TS drop. Wait for the embryos to float in the drop and leave it there for 1 minute. So in the TS solution, we usually put the embryos for 1 minute. So when you put the 8 cell embryos in the 1 minute, it will regain its size. Now now make another dish which contains DS, one drop of the DS, WS1 and WS2. But that dish you have to keep it at room temperature, not at 37 degree. Now transfer the embryos from the TS to DS and wait for 3 minutes. From DS to WS1 transfer and wait for 5 minutes. And after 5 minutes transfer into WS2 where you have to just in and out wash and then put it in the transfer dish containing culture media. Or you can make a culture dish and you can do extended culture up to blastocyst if you want. So this is about thawing of the embryo. I can show you by drawing. Yeah, please. 2 or 3 embryos. See, some are doing 4, but usually 2 to 3 is ideal. Hmm, 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 hmm. Yeah, yeah, that you can use. Yeah, all because here you see now all the solution you are using at a room temperature, so that all you can use. But for the TS na it requires 37 degree. So what you have to do for TS you have to allocate in the test tubes and only the desired amount of the TS you put at 37 degree. Because once you incubate, whatever the media, once you incubate that, you cannot reuse. So for that you have to incubate. Otherwise, all the medias we can directly use from that test tubes, from the tubes they provided, and once you use, put it back in the refrigerator. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. That you can use nowadays. Before that, before 1 year, these all medias have very short expiries. Nowadays, they now since 1 year, they have very long expiries media, like 8 to 10 months expiry is there. So many times we keep it at room temperature, again put it at a freeze in the refrigerator. That is not issue. But once you incubate or once you do put 37 degree, then that media you cannot reuse. So simply, I will show you drawing. Uh, take thir- take a one petri dish, 37 degree, maintain TS solution. Now put the cryolog, allow the embryo to float, wait for 1 minute in the TS solution. Now take a another petri dish, but this is to be kept at room temperature, not 37 degree, where you have to make one drop of the DS, one drop of the WS1, one drop of the WS2. Okay, then transfer T after 1 minute, transfer TS into DS for 3 minutes. Wait, from 3 minutes, transfer to the WS1 for 5 minutes, and then WS2 for wash, and then immediately transfer into culture dish or embryo transfer dish containing media. This is warming. Here timing is very important. So when I do this all procedure, na, my one assistant is standing nearby me with a stopwatch. So she tells me 58 second is there. So at a exact 60 second I transfer to the DS. Then she count.